Hello, good morning everyone. Today I'm here with the very second video of the very second chapter of geography from integrated social science, and that is latitudes and longitudes. Okay, so in the previous video we have discussed a brief description on parallels and meridians. Like we have learned that the globe, which is a true representation of the earth, has two set of circles. Okay, one set are called parallels and the other set are of circles are called meridians. Okay, so let us see which topics we have covered till now. So the topics which we have covered till now is the very first two topics, that is the introduction and a brief description on parallels and meridians. Today we'll be reading about parallels or latitudes as well as important parallels. Okay, so let us move on with this module. We already studied in the very first video about parallels, isn't it? Parallels are the horizontal lines. Okay, as you can see here, these are the horizontal lines. Okay, and these are the set of circles between the north pole and the south pole, and they are running from west to east. Okay, and these circles should be parallel to the equator. You can see here that the circles are parallel to the equator. Since then these lines run parallel to each other, they are called lines of latitude or parallels of latitude as well. Okay, the as you can see here, all parallels are complete circles. As you can see here in the video, all parallels are the complete circles except the 90-degree as well as 90-degree south. Okay, 90-degree north and 90-degree south, because these are just points. Okay, the equator is the largest parallel. The equator is the largest parallel, and the length of other parallels decrease as one moves away from equator. Okay, if you will be moving towards the north pole, you will see that the length of the other parallels will decrease. The same way, if you will be moving around the south pole, you will see that the length of the other parallels decreasing. Okay, and all parallels are located at an equal distance. You'll see here in the figure it is very clear that they are equidistant. Okay, they are at an equal distance from each other, and at an interval, the distance between any two parallels at an interval of 1 degree on the surface of the earth is about 111 kilometers. What is the distance between these two parallels or any two parallels on the surface of the earth? That is 111 kilometers. Okay, you must be thinking that these lines are actually drawn on the earth and is quite visible. No, it is not. These lines are imaginary. Okay, so there are 90 degrees in the north and 90 parallels in the southern hemisphere. Okay, there are 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere. As we have already studied, that equator is the imaginary line which divides the earth into two hemispheres, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Okay, so there are 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere and 90 parallels in the southern hemisphere. Hence, including this equator, okay, there are 181 parallels. There are 181 parallels. In the last module, I have already told that we will be discussing about why these parallels are 181 in total. We will be discussing it in the next video. So here I am discussing this. Okay, there are 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere and 90 parallels in the southern hemisphere, and when we include the equator, okay, there are 181 parallels on the earth. Okay, the parallels near the equator are said to be in low latitudes. Okay, the parallel near to the equator, those parallels which are near to the equator are called to be in low latitudes, and the parallel those near the poles, okay, the north pole and the south pole are in the high latitudes, okay. The equator is the only great circle while other parallels are small circles. Okay, the equator is the only great circle while the other parallels are all small circles. So apart from these parallel lines, some parallels are quite important. Okay, they are very much important. As you can see here, the axis of the earth is inclined at an angle of 66.5 degree north to the plane of its orbit. We have already discussed this also in the very first video. Let us see, move to that video also. As you can see here in this figure, okay, as you can see here that the earth, the axis of the earth is inclined at an angle. As you can see here, at an angle. Okay, the axis of the earth is the axis of the earth. This is the rotation axis and this is inclined, okay, at an angle of 66.5 degree, 66.5 degree to the plane of the orbit, to the plane of its orbit. Okay, and this inclination of the earth's axis help us mark the following important parallels. Okay, let us see what are those important parallels. It is quite evident in this figure. Okay, the inclination of the earth's axis helps us mark the following important parallels on the globe. The very first one you can see here, the Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degree north, the Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degree south, the Arctic Circle at 66.5 degree north, and the Antarctic Circle at 66.5 degree south. Okay, other than these important parallels, there are other important parallels also, which we have discussed in the first video. We used to take those as reference for describing the location of any place. Okay, and those important parallels are, the first one is the equator, which is also known as the Great Circle, okay, which is at 0 degree, the North Pole at 90 degree north, and the South Pole at the 90 degree south. Okay, so the axis of the earth is inclined at an angle of 66.5 degree to the plane of its orbit. This inclination of the earth's axis help us mark the important parallels on the globe. Let us revise those important parallels starting from the tip of the globe. North Pole at 90 degree, Arctic Circle at 66.5 degree north, Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degree north, Equator at 0 degree, Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degree south, Antarctic Circle 66.5 degree south, South Pole at 90 degree south. Okay. So we'll be understanding here that how we can measure latitudes. Okay, how we can measure latitudes. As you can see here that the distance of a place, the latitudes help us describe the location of the place, whether it is to the north of the equator or to the south of the equator. Okay, the distance of a place north or south of the equator is measured as an angle. Okay, this angle is the latitude of that place. This angle is the latitude of that place. Okay, the latitude of a place is the distance of that place north or south of the equator measured as an angle whose vertex is at the center of the earth, whose vertex is at the center of the earth. Okay, the latitude of a place is always expressed in degrees. As you can see here, 0 degree, 10 degree, 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree, 50 degree, 60 degree, 70 degree, 80 degree, 90 degree. And because these all are in the northern hemisphere, we will call them 0 degree north, 10 degree north, 20 degree north, 30 degree north, 40 degree north, 50 degree north, and so on. Okay, up to 90 degree north. As we have already studied that there are 181 parallels. Okay, 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere and 90 parallels in the southern hemisphere, including the equator. It becomes 181. Okay, so the latitude of a place is always expressed in degrees, as we know that there are total 360 degrees in a circle. Okay, how many degrees are there in a circle? There are 360 degrees in a circle. Okay, so it is, and each degree of latitude is divided into 60 minutes, and a minute is further subdivided into 60 seconds. Okay, the equator is taken as the starting line. This equator, that is, which is at 0 degree, is taken as the starting line and thus marked as 0 degree latitude. Okay, the distance between the equator and the north pole is 1/4. Okay, as you can see, 1/4 it is. Okay, so 1/4 of 360, 1/4 of 360 is 90 degree, and thus the latitude of the north pole is 90 degree, written as 90 degree north. And the same way the south pole is also 1/4 of the circle, that is why 1/4 of 360 is 90 degree. The latitude at the south pole is written as 90 degree south. Okay, while writing latitude of a place, the letter N or S is always added to the angular distance. Okay, if we are writing 10 degree to the north of the equator, we have to write it as 10 degree north. Okay, and if we are indicating 10 degree to the south of the equator, we have to write 10 degree south, 10 degree S. Okay, this indicates whether the place is in northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. Okay, this was all for today. In the next video, we'll be reading about the meridians, the heat zones, and how to locate places with the how to measure longitudes, okay, on the globe, and what terms are to be used. Till then, thank you and have a nice day. Do see the video again and again so that you will get a clear picture of the chapter.